This call is now being recorded.
Okay, yeah. So evening, guys. Yesterday, like we have uh, done the introduction part and all. We are done with the introduction part, right? Yeah. So have you gone through the terms which I have given you on the group about data science, artificial intelligence?
Yes, sir.
Anyone? So did you find something interesting apart from your day-to-day job? I mean, like whatever you're doing day-to-day activities, have you find something interesting while looking at the terms and all? Yes, so many
Yes,
people are
sir.
joining. Yes.
Few things.
Okay, yeah. So there's so much of interesting part to be discussed actually. So we'll just wait for 2 or 3 more minutes because so many people are joining. Yeah. And today, yeah. So we'll start with one statistical tool. So we, to understand the data science and all, we need a programming language, right, to execute the data science algorithms and all. Yeah. So we'll start with Python. So we'll go with Python and we'll start. Yeah. I'll teach you Python from the basics to the advanced level. So like while teaching now you keep your mind very attentive and all because the important what are the things I'm going to teach in the class are very important. These things I guess no one teaches you better. Okay, I can assure you that. So we'll take the class.
సార్
Yeah,
పైథాన్
okay,
క్లాస్
good.
ఎప్పుడు
Yeah,
హలో
so ఇప్పుడు python start చేద్దాం. Yeah, python in the sense data science only. Yeah, చెప్పండి.
ఆల్టర్నేటివ్ క్లాసెస్ జరుగుతాయి సార్ ఇప్పుడు పైథాన్ అండ్ డేటా సైన్స్
No, python is a part of data science actually.
ఓకే ఓకే థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్
Yeah, Python is a part of data science, guys. Don't misunderstand that. Okay. So in order to like execute data science algorithms and all, we need one programming language. You can use Python or R language or SAS. Sort of three, we teach Python with data science actually. Okay. Is that clear or are you having any doubts?
Clear, sir.
క్లియర్ సార్
Yeah. Yeah, so from today on, we'll start Python. We'll learn slowly from the basics to the advanced level. And after that, I'll teach you statistics and mathematics. I'm just telling you the course curriculum today. Yeah, so starting today, we'll start with Python. After that, I'm going to teach you statistics and mathematics, and then followed by data science. I mean, what are the machine learning algorithms or deep learning algorithms I'm going to teach you? I'll teach you that. Okay, for that, we need to learn Python definitely. For that sake, I'm making you to learn Python. Clear? Yeah. So let me open the PPT and then let us discuss. Yeah. So, well, guys, I need a coordinator, because I need the attendance as well, like everyone are attending or not. So, any volunteers out there, like who can coordinate the students and all? Anyone can come forward. Suma Reddy. Yeah. Suma, you like, okay. Chinna. Yeah, any two people are good actually because there are 50 members here, I guess. So daily we are going to have 50 members. So two people can monitor all the attendance, who are coming or not. Like we can post it in the group. Fine. So I guess Dasari Monica and Chinna Chandlapatti. Yeah. So you both can like work on it. Okay. Okay. After the class, just give me a call. I'll tell you what to do. Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. So we'll start with Python. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is.
Okay, so before entering into the Python world and all, no, a little bit of introduction about data analyst, Yeah, see, so data analysis is very important, I told you. Like before applying any machine learning algorithm by using Python or any programming language, we need a good understanding about the data. That's the main intention of the entire data science, actually. You need to have a good understanding about the data and what the data is talking with you, we need to understand. So in order to understand what data is talking with us, there are four types of analysis and like throughout every data analyst does this. So four types of analysis is done on the data. One is descriptive, so answers the question of what happened. Okay, think like this. So the data is very crucial, I told you, right? So data, if the data is very crucial, that means you're collecting the data in different formats. I told you that. So now I'll tell you one example and I'll explain you these four so that you'll understand it in a better way. Consider a hospital. Like you're like going to a hospital, like you're suffering from some diabetics or something, and you want to approach a doctor and you want to take the medicine, right? Yeah. So descriptive is something answers the questions of what happened. Like you need to tell the symptoms of what you're facing, right, to the doctor, because doctor will ask you what happened, and you'll tell him that, yeah, I'm like my sugar levels, I don't know, it might be down. I'm getting some I'm like I'm facing some nausea kind of and everything. If you tell some description what's happening with you to the doctor, immediately doctor, what he does is he will ask you to diagnose what is the exact disease you have. In order to diagnose, the doctor will recommend you some, what do we call that, like for reports, like blood report, or blood report or urine report or something. So doctor will suggest you that. So that comes under diagnostic. Why something happened. So once we get the report, so doctor will understand what happened with our blood levels and everything. He takes the report and he checks it, and he identifies that problem. Okay, and after identifying that problem, at what stage you are, whether it is type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes or at the initial state or something, he will do some prediction by looking at the report, right? What might happen, like in the future, what can happen. So in order to prevent that, doctor, what he does is he gives you the medicine, the dosage and all, accordingly he will predict and he will give the dosage and all to the patient. And prescriptive, that comes of what action to take to eliminate the problem. So in these four ways the entire data analysis is done. That means, okay, that is the in a practical way, in a normal way, I have given you one example. But coming to a technical way, understand this. Descriptive is something you need to understand what data is talking with you. Like yesterday, I told you about the correlation. Remember, like correlation and all. So that's you need to understand in a statistical way, like what data is talking with us. Diagnostic, like after you understand about the data and all, now you need to decide whether how many inputs are best suited for the output. Only that inputs I need to take, because of that only something is happening. Predictive, the prediction is done. Yesterday we were talking about the prediction, right? Once you train the model with the respective data, with the respect to inputs and with the respect to output, if you train the data with a complex mathematical algorithm, the prediction is done there with good accuracy and with low error rate. And prescriptive, so after the prediction and all, once you're done with the prediction and you're good, like if a new sample comes in picture, so what is the exact output it requires? That comes from in the prescriptive part, actually. So what action to be taken to eliminate that problem, in the sense like what action to be taken for that particular question you are asking to the machine for the prediction purposes and all. So that's how analysis is done in four ways. Yeah, we'll do this analysis, but not now. Like after finishing Python, mathematics, and statistics, and after that we'll enter into the data science world. Now, then we'll start discussing about more about the data. So we'll take small data sets and we'll try to use some algorithms on the small data sets, and we try to understand that algorithms, and we try to understand the prediction part. Likewise, the picture goes on. So yeah, before then, yeah, I will start working on Python. I guess everybody knows about Python, right? I mean, anyone, like, have you heard about Python before?
Yes, sir. It's a programming language.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's
Yes, sir.
programming language. True. So Python is very famous these days. So whenever this data science has come in picture, now everyone are like beyond this Python, 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 Python. Why Python? Why Python? See, Python. There are other programming languages as well, like R, and as well as Java, .NET, and coming to SAS. So there are other programming languages which offer machine learning algorithms and all. But what happens? Why Python? So Python is very easy to learn. It's an easy language actually compared to Java and .NET. It's not that complex. And while creating the algorithms, Java and .NET is very complex actually. They don't have that good libraries there. So, Java and .NET, they don't use it. People don't use it. And people use Python, R, and SAS. SAS is not an open source actually. It's not open source. That's why people doesn't go with SAS. But people use SAS. Who bought the license and all, people use SAS for machine learning and all. So Python for like learning in the initial stage, we can't buy the license and all, right? So Python and R are best languages for learning this data science now. Okay. Yeah. So coming to deep learning algorithms, R doesn't support deep learning algorithms that much. Yeah, it supports, but yeah, compared to Python, Python is very easy there. Again, it supports, but Python has got vast number of algorithms of deep learning and machine learning. So everyone uses Python. Okay, everyone, even Google, the Google web browser you are using, it uses some part of Python in it. Like yeah, so it uses some part of Python in it, like to fetch the data fastly, like to use the data and to make the intelligent part of the data. Google browsers use Python actually. Yeah. So introduction part, we'll go through the introduction part. So Python is a programming language. So what do you mean by this? So any set of instructions you give to a machine is called a program, right? So remember this, guys. In order to become a good software developer or good data scientist or whatever it is, you need to understand how the programming language works actually. Okay, different programming languages have different syntaxes. Like Python has got its own syntax, Java has got its own syntax, same as with .NET and R language and all. But you need to remember the syntax is very crucial to make machine understand. Okay, that's the entire logic here. A programming language or whatever you call it, no? So you're making the machine understand in its own language. For that, you're choosing a different programming language. That's it. Remember, so nothing but you are giving a set of instructions to the machine to perform, right? As a human, we know, like adding two numbers in 5 plus 4 will do it. 5 plus 4 is 9. We'll do it. But for the machine, to say that to the machine doesn't know that, right? So we give a set of instructions to the machine so that it understands that instructions and performs well, and it gives you the better output. Clear? Yeah. So Python is a programming language. Yeah, we have already discussed on that. Python can be used to create web applications on a server. Okay, Python can be used on a server to create web applications. That means web applications. I'll give some examples of web applications: Amazon, Flipkart, Book My Show, Zomato. In all these, you are able to book the tickets or order the food or order any items, right? So that's a web application actually. So what these web applications sit on a server. It might be a dedicated server or a cloud. Cloud in the sense there are so many cloud platforms out there in the market these days. We have Amazon Web Services, AWS cloud platform, and not only that, we have DigitalOcean, and we have Microsoft has got its own cloud there. Yeah. So likewise, people have different. We have different cloud platforms. You can use any cloud platform. You can use any cloud platform to create the web applications and make your web applications live. Okay. Yeah. Before going into the web application, I'll tell you. We'll discuss one small topic. There's so many people joining. Okay. Good. Yeah. So before proceeding into Python and all, we'll discuss some part of web application part, how the web applications are working and all. I'll tell you. Okay. Remember, whatever I'm teaching you guys is a very important topics. Always keep attentive brain and listen carefully. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We consider this. And so think this as a server. Server might be, I told you, right, cloud or any dedicated servers kind of. Okay. So our entire code sits on this server. code.
కనిపించడం లేదు, కొద్దిగా పెద్దగా రాయండి.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. So this I think this as a server, and the server might be a cloud or dedicated, and our entire code sits on this server. Whatever the code, like the front end code or back end code, whatever you use it, no, entire code sits on the server. Okay. And this server will be having an IP address. Remember, every server or every machine, even your system, will have this IP address, right? So this IP address will be mapped to over the domain name. Okay. IP address is mapped to the domain name. Why? Why in the sense? See, so domain name is nothing. I'm giving you one example of domain name, that is www.google.com. So google.com is domain name. It is called a domain. It is called as a domain. And Amazon.com is a domain. Flipkart.com is a domain. Why people doesn't use IP addresses is IP address is very difficult to memorize, right? Like it's like 11.111.112.113. It will be in that format. So it's very difficult for a human to memorize. And there's so many websites out there, you can't memorize the IP address. That's why all the IP addresses are mapped to this domain name. When you hit this domain name, automatically this IP address will be activated. That's how you see the sites. That's how you access the server. Clear? Yeah. For example, see, Amazon.com, Amazon.in is a domain name. So if you click on it, automatically that IP address will be activated, in which this Amazon entire website code is there, right? Suppose I want to check what is the exact IP address of the domain. I'll go to IP voice lookup. What is my IP.com? I'll go here and I'll just simply type Amazon.in. Let's just have a look. Isn't a valid IP address? So no, we don't want. I guess they have changed the site. Let me see. Look up on domain name. Yeah, we'll use this. Okay. So Amazon.in. Check this out, guys. See, the A name records are the IP address. And remember, this IP address is a public IP address. You can't get any private IP address, because if you get the private IP address, people can hack it, right? So that's why, the IP address, whatever you are seeing on the internet, are completely public. Okay. So this is this IP address, and this IP address is mapped to this name. See, Amazon.in. So whenever you hit this Amazon.in, it automatically triggers this IP address, and it redirects to the entire code, whatever you are seeing so far in the Amazon.in. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So that's how, the web applications are built, and they are deployed on the servers. Okay. Coming to our part. Yeah. So what happens here? The server, I have kept the server here. So this server will be connected to, okay, I'll create 2 more blocks. Yeah. So here comes the database part. Yesterday we were discussing about databases. Remember, relational database management systems or non-RDBMS. Yeah. So yeah, this server is connected to the database. Like Amazon, whenever you register something, automatically from the front end. So this is the front end. This is front end UI, actually user interface. So whatever you are looking here now on the Amazon.in domain, this is called as front end. This entire thing. So if you want to sign up, if you click on this sign up, right, your account, your order, so like everything, whatever you're looking at is called the front end or the user interface, we call it. Okay. And yeah, so here I have written the front end, and I'll increase the size. Okay. I'll use this arrow mark. Okay, good. Yeah. So from the front end, we send the data to the server, and the server, what it does is it uses one language, one backend technology. See, front end is different, backend technologies are different. So backend technologies are something where they can be used to connect to databases. Remember that. So backend technologies are something where they can be used to connect to the databases. That means Python, is a backend technology because it can be used to connect to any database like MySQL or MongoDB or Oracle. Yesterday we were discussing about the databases, right? In the same way, R can also act as a backend technology, Java, .NET, everything. So whatever the backend technology, there's so many backend technologies out there in the market, out of which we use Python. So we'll discuss about Python here, right? So here Python plays a crucial role. It acts as a mediator between the server and the database. Yeah, remember that, okay? Increase the size. Yeah. So Python is acting as a mediator between the server and this database. So whenever from the front end, whatever the data you are getting to the server, Python injects that entire data into this database. And once if the front end needs any data, automatically there's a bidirectional flow actually. From the database, by using Python, you'll get the data, and from the server, it is sent to the front end. So it's a bidirectional actually. Remember, it's not unidirectional, guys. The server is the mediator between the database and the front end, and the Python, what are the backend technology, is the mediator between the server and the database. And whenever the front end requires the data, like to show up the items, like to show up these kind of like if you search for something, no? Like mobiles, see mobiles under 10,000 something. So the mobiles and the description part, whatever the price and all are coming, everything are coming up from the database actually. So whenever you search something, when you click on it, that means an action is done. An action is done, and the action is sent to the server from the front end, and the respective action will have a certain name to identify what sort of action is done from the front end. And from the front end, whenever you click something like you search or you click anything, no, it sends that action triggering points to the server. And from the server, again, the triggering point is sent to Python. From the Python, the actual data, whatever you want, what you searched for, will fetch the data from the database, and it again sends back to the server, and then from there it sends back to the front end. That's how the entire flow is done in the web applications. That's how that's why web applications are called as dynamic, right? Dynamic in the sense it is getting from the whatever the data you are getting from the database, it gets updated every minute or every second. Whenever the data present in the database is updated, automatically in the front end also it is updated. So that's why those are called as dynamic. So the websites which doesn't have this database or anything, those are called as static websites. Good, yeah. So that's the basic difference actually. So how web applications work, Python can be used on a server to create web applications as well. Okay. Python is used for scripting, for automation purposes, and for automation purposes also people are using Python. Automation in the sense like manual works, whatever you do on Excel sheets and all, Python can be used to create good it can perform good automation techniques. It has so many automation techniques, and it is used for scripting purposes as well. And Python is an interpreted and object-oriented programming language. Okay, so interpreted is something like in the C language, which we already learned in our BTech first year, right? The C language, what we do is we first compile it and then run it, if you remember, right? We first compile it and then run it. So in Python, that's not required. Directly you can run it. That's why it is called as interpreted programming language. That means we are converting the language, whatever the instructions, into machine language, and at the same time that is being converted into the output as well. There is only one step here. In C, you do two steps for it. Like compile it and then run it, right? And it's an object-oriented programming language. The OOPS concepts, in Java, whatever, wherever you hear about this OOPS concepts and all, those are called as object-oriented programming languages. And in this, the classes and objects and so many other terminology related to OOPS concept, are related to this object-oriented. So Python is also an object-oriented programming language. That means it deals with all the OOPS concepts. And the last point, Python is used for machine learning purposes also. See, not only out of all this, Python is being used for machine learning purposes very efficiently in the market. Clear? Yeah. So machine learning, not only machine learning, Python is used for deep learning purposes. Python is used for NLP, natural language processing, like for creating to make a Siri or Google Assistant understand. That's a natural language processing techniques actually. Those are, yeah. So Python can be used for creating natural language processing techniques as well. So that's why Python is called as general purpose language, because no other language is used this efficiently for creating all the facilities related to the software development. That means Python is called a general purpose language because Python can be used to create web applications on a server, Python can be used for machine learning purposes, that means data science purposes, artificial intelligence purposes, and not only artificial intelligence, like for automation purpose also people use it, and for creating mobile applications on Java as well as on iOS, people are using Python. But yeah, people are not using this Python for creating mobile app that efficiently, because there are other good softwares out there which can use for creating mobile applications. But yeah, so Python can be used for creating mobile applications as well, right? So in total, like kul mila ke completely, that's why Python is called as general purpose language. Yeah, what can Python do? Python can be used on a server to create web application. We have done that. Python can be used alongside software to create workflows. What that automation part and all, whatever I was talking about. Python can connect to database systems. It can also read and modify files. Remember, so Python, it is used to connect to databases, not only for connecting purposes. It can read the data, read in the sense fetch the data from the database, and it can update the data as well. Sometimes, you if you forgot the password, you need to click on the forgot password, and then you give a new password, and automatically that new password will be updated on the backend side. So Python is accessing the database, and it is replacing that old password with the new password. That's how Python is used in various ways. So Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. So this is the main point actually. So we are moving into data science now. This part helps us more actually. Okay, Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics.
సార్ కొద్దిగా స్లోగా చెప్పండి.
Okay. So yeah.
I am carry forward notes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll make it very slow. Okay, Python can be used to handle big data and perform complex mathematics. Till here we are clear, na guys? Do you have any doubts? You can ask me. Till here, anyone? Okay, I think that means you don't have any doubts. So I'll proceed further. Yeah. So Python is used in these various ways. Actually. Yeah. Someone is talking.
Sir, you said the Python is an integrated object-oriented, sir. How it is, sir? Explain once. Fourth
Okay.
point, sir.
Yeah. So as I told you, see, you do you know about C? You have done something in C language? Yeah. So in C language, you used to perform while running the command, you need to perform two commands actually. So one is to compile it, and then one is to run it. So compiling is done at the runtime. At the runtime is when you're running it. So compiling is something where the instructions, whatever you're giving to the machine, is converted into machine language. Because machine doesn't understand the text, whatever you're typing, right? Machine understands only binary language, that is zeros and ones. So that is entirely converted into that binary language, and then the machine understands that, it solves it, and it gives you the output in the machine language. And when you run it now, automatically the run command, what it does, it converts that machine language into normal output. So there are two stages you are doing it. So in order to make machine understand that. So Python, what it does is, no need to compile and run it directly. If you run it now, it only converts everything into machine language and then gives you the output directly. So that's why it is called as interpreted language. Got done?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So that's the main point actually. Yeah. So yeah, we're good with the web applications and all. Okay. So Python version. So these are not the latest version, guys. This is a whole PPT. So you can just check like 3.x or 3.8 or 3.9 it is running now. But yeah, so previously, there are two versions of Python, but after 2020, they have removed this Python 2. They are not giving any support to Python 2 version actually. So people are learning only Python 3 these days. That means you need to learn Python third version, 3.x. I don't remember the latest version number, but yeah, so you can only use Python 3 from here. That's fine. So this is not required now, since we are using all the Python 3. Yeah. So for writing Python code, we need some environment, right? Like some environment to write the code and execute it. Right. For .NET, we have VS Studio. For Java, we have Eclipse. In the same way, we need something to write our code of Python and execute that and check the output. Right. So for that, I hope that you're all having your own laptops or systems at your homes. So because you need to install this environment. Okay. Yeah. So we'll start with this. So Python has so many environments where you can write your code. Like we have PyCharm. There is one environment, and we have Spider. There is second environment. The third one is Jupyter Notebooks. Third one is Jupyter Notebooks, and also in VS Studio also you can write your Python code actually. Clear? Yeah. So out of all these, no, I'll teach you Jupyter Notebooks to how to use it, and go after and when we enter into data science, I'll use Spider to perform the data science task. So in order to like install these Jupyter Notebooks or Spider, we have one channel where it gives you everything, like the Spider, Jupyter Notebooks, anything, and the channel name is called as Anaconda. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm using Ubuntu, guys. So don't get confused, since I guess you all will be using Windows, no? So in Windows, you need to install this Anaconda. Okay. So once you install this Anaconda, how to install Anaconda, I'll be telling you now. Yeah. So first, remember these steps. Like write it down somewhere. Yeah. So simply type Anaconda download in the Google first pack. So once you have typed it, na, so you'll have this official site of anaconda.com. You can click on this Anaconda distribution directly. After clicking on the Anaconda distribution, see the download option will be there. Since I'm using Linux, so it is showing me for Linux users this. So for Windows, automatically you'll get it here. If not, get additional installers. Like you can click here the Windows symbol. So automatically takes you like here 64-bit and 32-bit, and based upon your system configuration, guys, if it is 32-bit, then install this 32-bit graphic installer, or if it is 64-bit, then go for 64-bit graphic installer. I guess someone might be using Mac OS, like Mac systems. If you have it, you have this Mac installers here out there. If someone is using Linux, you have this Linux installers out here. And the latest version of Python is Python 3.9, as you can clearly see here. Okay. Yeah. So remember this, guys, in order to install Anaconda, first you need to type Anaconda download in the Google, and then go to the first link. Automatically you'll find the download button, and once you get the .exe file of the download option, immediately double click on the .exe file. It will ask you like run as an administrator. Okay, write it down somewhere. If not, you'll forget. Right. Okay. So .exe file, you'll get it in the downloads. When you double click on the .exe file, the machine will ask you about like run as an administrator, and you click on yes, and then follow. You'll have next buttons there. So next, click on next, and you'll have a loading symbol. Until the loading symbol is finished, you click on next, and at one point you'll be having two checkboxes. One checkbox will be ticked already. The other checkbox is left empty. It will ask you like add environmental variables to the system. You check that box and then click next, and finish it. That's it. Remember, one checkbox will be left empty. The other checkbox will be filled with a tick mark. So the empty checkbox, whatever you have now, you consider that checkbox and you tick it. Like you enable the checkbox and then click on next, and then finish it. Automatically, Anaconda will be installed in your system. Okay. Once Anaconda is installed in your system, so you'll have two like softwares installed in your system. In the Windows, not in Linux or Mac. In Windows, you'll be having two softwares installed in your system. Okay. So one is Anaconda Navigator. The other one is Anaconda Prompt. So for data science purposes also, we use this only. So that's why this is one channel where you get everything. So try to install Anaconda in your systems. Okay, so Anaconda Navigator will have all the IDEs. IDEs in this where we write the code and all in the environments and all, the Python code or something. We'll have all the IDEs. This is like a command prompt. Command prompt, like CMD in the Windows, you have that command prompt, right? In the same way, Linux will have this command prompt. This is called as terminal, where whatever you type here, automatically in the command prompt, it is related to voice actually. So whatever you type it here, automatically the instruction will be like triggered. So suppose I want to open Anaconda Navigator in my system. So in Ubuntu we open like this, but in Windows, go to start button and search for Anaconda Navigator. You'll directly get that app there. Double click on it. Immediately the Anaconda Navigator will open once after installation. Yeah. So this is Anaconda Navigator's environment, guys. So there's so many IDs here. So out of these all IDs, we'll use Jupyter Notebook, this Jupyter Notebook, and another one is Spider. So we will use this Spider for data science purposes, but for learning Python and all, we'll try to understand this Jupyter Notebook. I mean, we'll use Jupyter Notebook for like writing Python code and creating some programs and try to make machine understand how the Python and all. So we'll use Jupyter Notebooks for it. Okay, once it is installed, yeah, you can click on this launch button. Automatically, your Jupyter Notebook will open. Yeah, so Jupyter Notebook is a web-based application. See, it has opened up in my browser actually, right? And it has a local host, this thing. Yeah, so the local host is something where you can only access it. The other people can't access it. Say like Amazon.in, people can access it from the outside world, right? But local host is something where you can access it only in your system. The other people can't access it. Okay. So people what generally do is they build web applications in this local host, and then they take this local host. Once everything is done, the entire code is they take this entire code and they deploy it in the public server, so that public can access it. That's it, right? So here you have multiple options. I mean, these are my folders actually, which are present in my in the C drive. You have all the programs, right? In the same way, I have the C drive where I have all my folders actually. So let us create one new folder in order to create a new folder for this Hyse placement May batch. So what I'll do is I'll create a new. So you can see Python 3 notebook. Don't click on this Python 3 notebook. We need a folder. I can create a folder from here only. Yeah. So once I've clicked on folder, automatically an untitled folder will be created. Can you see it here? Seconds ago. Right. I'll rename it. I'll check this box and then I'll go to the top. Here I have an option called rename. I'll click on rename. And yeah, we'll use Hyse May. Yeah, don't ever give spaces between the folder names, guys, because it's not a good practice. Okay, if you want to use like spaces or something, use underscores. Okay, Hyse May 2020.
సార్ జూమ్ చేసి అసలు కనిపించడం లేదు.
You need to. I can't zoom it. Like you need to pin that. Like you have options to pin in your system, na? So pin it. Pin చేస్తే zoom అవుతుంది. Okay, yeah. So Hyse May 2022 batch. So I've placed it here. So now I'm going to create a new Python book, the notebook, Jupyter Notebook, right? I'll create a new Python notebook where we can write our Python code very efficiently there. Okay, I'm clicking on this Python 3. So automatically a book is created with the name untitled. Yeah. So as you can see, the untitled name is already. I'll rename it. I'll check the box, and then the rename option. Okay, we can rename it directly here only. I'll double click it here, and now I'll rename this to session 1. I renamed it. Yeah, good. So same like in Excel, you have this file, edit, view, insert. There's so many options present in Excel, right? In the same way, we have certain options for this IDE. So in the file, if I go into file now, I can open a new notebook or open a new notebook, kind of. So the homework, like once we are done with this class, the homework for today is understand the options present in this. All the options present in file, edit, and view for tomorrow's class. Before coming to tomorrow's class, try to understand, like check one by one option, click on it and understand what option is, and make a copy, save as, rename, everything, save and checkpoint, edit, and view. 3 options need to be completed before coming to the next class. Remember. Okay, and this is called as a cell. This is called a cell. So in this cell, we'll write the Python code and we'll execute it. And this is this is called as input. Okay, I'll write the Python code as simple. Yeah, any programming language will start with the print statement, and that is hello world. Remember? I'll use hello world. Okay, so I'll run it. See, I'll click on this run. See, come to hello world. So in order to run the cell with a command, use Control plus Enter. You can use Control plus Enter. See how many times you input run it now. That many times the number get increased. If I use Control plus Enter again, see that's the third time. So 3 times I have executed my Python code by using this print statement, and that's it. So we got this hello world. And yeah, so in any programming language, this print statement is very common. Like you'll come across this print statement a lot of times. So print statement is something where the characters whatever you give inside the print block, that will get printed automatically inside on the output page. Okay, and print statement can be used for debugging purposes also. So debugging is something where you use your analysis and solve the errors. So at that point, you need to understand where the error is, right? At that point, you use this print statement as well. So in the ongoing classes, I'll show you the debugging as well. And with the help of print statements, you understand that there is an error present here, and I need to solve that error. So print statement can be used in those ways also. Remember that. I'll show you once we enter into loops, like for loop or if loop, then I'll show you there, but not now. Okay, so this is the basic syntax of the Python. And likewise in other programming languages, in order to create variables, in order to add two numbers, like you need to create a variable and perform some operations on it. That is not required in Python. Simply you can use 5 plus 4, that is 9. See, like human calculator, like the calculator how you use 5 plus 4. In the same way you can use 5 plus 4 or 5 minus 4. Yeah, can you mute someone? Yeah. Okay, 5 minus 4, anything like small mathematical operations, you can do it. Yeah. So the constants, these are called as constants because these cannot be changed, right? So 5 is a constant. 5 is a constant. Remember. So why it is called as a constant? Because 5 value cannot be changed. We can't change that 5 value, right? So that's why 5 is called a constant. And in the same way, we have like A, B, or C, or any names are called as variables. Variables can be varied actually. These can be varied. Like ABC, I'm giving you one basic example. Likewise, you can create, like you can use any number of strings in the variable name. Okay, these can be varied. That means the values in that can be changed. For example, in order to create a variable in Python, simply use a variable name and followed by a value, attach that value to it. That means 5 is a constant now. A is a variable, right? When you assign 5 to the variable A, that means A value is fixed now. That means A becomes a constant, right? So 5 is a constant. Good. A is a variable and 5 is assigned to A. 5 is assigned to A. That means now A is fixed. A is fixed, right? Now A is fixed. That means A is 5. Now A becomes a constant. A becomes a constant. Remember, A is fixed. A becomes a constant. Good. So now A is a fixed value, which we have fixed with the value 5. Likewise, this is how you declare variables in Python. And this concept, this is called as variable declaration. Okay. Not only A, you can use any HSE, some name, some variable. HSE is also a variable now. HSE is a variable which is fixed to 8, kind of. Right. So now we'll perform like addition program, small addition program for today, and we'll end the class. Okay. Yeah. So A is equals to 5 and B equals to 10. And if you want to A plus B, and if I want to print C, I'll use print C statement. So if I run it, C. So A value is 5, B value is 10, and C equal to A plus B. That means 5 plus 10 is 15. When I print it, it becomes 15. Right? Yeah. So in other programming language, what we need to do is we need to tell the machine that 5 is an integer. Like machine easily can't understand what is the difference between an integer or numbers. The numbers or the decimals or any strings, kind of. So in other programming language, in C or Java, we mention it to the machine that 5 is an integer only. So you consider only integers. But coming to Python, you give whatever number or any string to it, automatically it assigns its value to it. Like 5.25 I have given. Simply, it's like an English language. Like whatever you type it in the calculator, you just give it out. No need to like mention that 5.25 is a float number. The decimals are called as float in programming languages, right? 10 is an integer. So don't need to mention those kind of keywords to it. And yeah, Yeah, so that's how the variables are declared in Python. And your homework, do you remember, right? Homework is like you need to understand file options, edit options, and view options. Try to do it. And then your next homework is identify keywords present in Python. Keywords in Python. All the keywords list. There are a list of keywords there. Like copy that list of keywords, like or take a screenshot of the list of keywords and place it in your homework folders. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, prints the statement hello world as output. This is the basic syntax. So identifiers. So a Python identifier is a name used to identify a variable, function, class, module, or other object. So it's very easy, guys. See, a is a variable, right? You're identifying it. That means this is an identifier. That like the syntax. What are the syntax of Python you are using? You're clearly understanding that by looking at the syntax, you can understand that it's a variable and it's a function, it's a class. So those are called as identifiers. Okay, remember that. And reserved words, the keywords. The keywords. Just now I've given you the homework, right? So make a list of all the keywords present in the Python and take that screenshot and paste that in your homework folders. Remember, the more homework you do, the better you'll be with Python and anything. And not only with Python, if you are doing homework with data science and all, the better you'll get with data science and everything. Okay, I'll be giving you homework tasks and all. You try to do it. Yeah, and if you have any doubts in the homework, you can ask me later. Okay, good. So reserved words are nothing but as keywords. Keywords are something where in Python which are already there and we are using it. For example, the print statement. Print statement, we are not declaring it. It's already there in Python. We are using it. Likewise, there's so many other keywords in Python. So identify those keywords, make a list of it. Cannot declare as a constant or variable. Yeah. So you can't print statement cannot be you can't assign that inside a variable or it's not a constant. It's a built. It's already built-in functions, built-in modules which are already present in Python, and we are using it. So built-in functions are something where these print statements and whatever you're looking at now, which are already there in Python, we are using that now. So those are called as built-in functions, which are already there in Python are called as built-in functions. Okay. So we have seen about numbers. Now we'll look into the strings now. Strings are nothing but a collection of characters, right? So the data, I told you, data is in different formats. It might be in the words, or it might be in letters, or it might be in numbers, numerical format, or anything, right? So I'll declare the string as this, Rajesh. Okay, A is equals to Rajesh. I've given it here, and if I print A, so the A value is assigned with the constant Rajesh, and Rajesh is a string, and string is a collection of characters. Yeah, see, print A. So print the A, it automatically says A is Rajesh. And if I use B as Naveen, if I print it, yeah, so it concatenates both Rajesh and Naveen, because these are not numbers, right? We cannot add up the strings like numbers. So what it does is it joins two strings. See, so I'll remove this print statement. You'll get confused. Yeah, see, so Rajesh, Naveen, it combines two names or whatever the names you give it now. So it combines that. Okay, till here we are good, guys. Like you understood like how to install Python and how to write the code in Python. And from tomorrow now we dig deep dive into Python, and we'll dig deep dive. We'll take a deep dive into Python. We'll understand so many features present in Python and all. Okay, so that's it for today. So if you have any doubts in the today's class, you can ask me.
Sir, can you show again Rajesh and Naveen name how to combine?
Okay, so A equal to Rajesh you have given, B equal to Naveen you have given, and in the print statement A plus B. Plus is used to concatenate two strings, plus symbol. So in previously you have added two numbers by using plus symbol, right? Yeah, so numbers can be added, but the strings cannot be added, right? Because that doesn't have any value. So they get concatenated. Concatenation is done by using plus symbol. Simply type A plus B, automatically the two strings will be joined together. Clear?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, any more doubts you can ask me, or you can complete the homework by tomorrow. Okay, remember the homework.
Sir,
What is string, sir?
Sir,
One by one. Yeah, what is a string? Okay. In the first session, I told you the data can be in different formats. It can be in numerical formats, or it can be like the text part. String is nothing but text actually. Text part you're storing it. The string is a name given there in any programming language called as string. String is a collection of characters. That means R is one character, A is one character, J is one character. It's a collection of characters. That is called a string. So in order to declare a string, you use these double quotes. Inside the double quotes, you place anything that automatically becomes a string. Clear? Hello, is that clear? The one who has
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Any more doubts, guys?
Yes, sir. Sir, in the second code, we have written 5 minus 4. Without print statement, the answer will be generated. That is how?
Yeah. So in Jupyter notebooks, no need to write print statement. Whatever the value is, then automatically it considers that as a print statement actually. Okay. See, I don't know. Here I won't use print statement. See, I'll use C only. It gets printed. So the last statement, whatever it is there, it shows you that output here. That's it. So no need to give print statement here as well. I'm just giving you print statement because you need to understand the print statement logic, right? So in this Jupyter notebook, and in Python IDEs, no need to give print statement, but it's always a good practice to give print statements. Then you will understand that there is a print statement there and in that particular piece of code and all. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. And any more doubts?
Sir, can you explain OOPS concept in next class?
No. So we need to understand the basics of Python initially. OOPS are the advanced Python actually. Okay. So it will take time to reach that level. Once we finish slowly the basics and all, I'll teach you the classes, object, polymorphism, inheritance. There's so many other topics out there. But first, initially, you need to understand the basics of Python. Then only we can enter into the advanced Python. Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
Sir, actually, we don't have a laptop, so how can I share your folders of homework?
How can you share the folders?
Yes, sir, homework folders. You say no.
Homework folders, no need to share actually. I'll tell you, like you do the homework. I'll just give you simple small homeworks actually. If you have doubts now, you can ask me. And if you don't have a laptop, guys, okay, remember you have your mobile phones, right? Yeah, from the mobile phone, you like online Python ID compiler, you can directly type. No need to install anything. But you need to have a laptop definitely. I can't tell you like this is a permanent solution for you, but yeah, use some online programming like online program Python compiler is there. Yeah, you see, write the code here by using the mobile itself, and then you can run it directly here. See, you can check the Python output here, but that's not suggested for temporary purposes. You can use these online compilers, but definitely you need to have a system or a laptop to understand Python and data science perfectly. With the phone, you can't work it out. Clear? आपको समझ में आ गया? Like, yeah, you asked the doubt, no? Okay, done. Yeah. So the next, any doubts? Any more?
What is Anaconda? In website in Google, sir.
It's Anaconda is a channel. So where you have all these IDs. This is the thing. This is called as a channel actually. In this channel, you have different IDs where you can use any ID you want. It provides. It's like a package to you. It's like a wrapper. Inside that wrapper, you'll have everything directly. You can use R Studio. I told you about R language. No, for data science toolkit, we call this as data science toolkit. For data science, these all are required. But we'll not use all these things. But we'll use most probably we'll use Jupyter Notebook and Spider. R Studio, to write R language for data science purposes or any purpose.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, good. Yeah. Next.
సరే జావాని నోట్ ప్యాడ్ లో మనం ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తాం కదా ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని.
యా.
ఇప్పుడు పైథాన్ ఏమిట్లో ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తాం సార్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని?
నోట్ ప్యాడ్ అన్న. ఐ డిడ్ంట్ గెట్ దట్. నోట్ ప్యాడ్ లో జావా .java ఎక్స్టెన్షన్ చేస్తా అంటాం అంతేనా?
అవును సార్. ఇప్పుడు పైథాన్ ఏమిట్లో మనం ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేస్తాం సార్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ని?
.py యూస్ చేసి. I'll tell you that. Not now, but first install Anaconda and all. I'll show you notepad నుంచి కూడా చేయొచ్చు Python ని, but this is the best way actually. Okay, notepad is not a better approach.
Okay, I am present మొబైల్లో యూజ్ చేస్తూ ఉన్నాను సార్ క్లాసెస్ ని.
Yeah, so present అయితే ఆన్లైన్ కంపైలర్స్ తో వాడాలి, but that is not recommendable guys. I'm telling you, it's better if you want to learn data science perfectly, then I mean, you can't use everything. You can't depend on online compilers. For Python and all, you can depend on online compilers. After that, the statistics part and all, I'll teach you on Excel actually. I told you, right? So for that, you need Excel definitely.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Any more doubts, or can we end the class for today?
Sir, what about notes, sir?
Notes, I told you, in the YouTube channel, they will upload the video, I guess. There you can like go through the videos and all. I'll ask them, like I'll share the PPT. Maybe I'll ask them once so that they'll share the PPT with you guys. Okay. Because I'm not having all the emails of you, so I'll ask them. I'll ask the management. Okay. I'll ask them and I'll tell you by tomorrow.
Okay,
Sir, thank you.
So I guess
Sir,
I'll stop the record.
recorded videos ఉండవా సార్?
Recorded videos YouTube lo పెడతారు. I guess I don't know when they're going to upload it. Yeah, they'll upload it very soon. Okay.
Okay, done, sir.